This one, and this video I'll be covering a simple approach to how I trade FVGs and IFVGs on gold. So what's an FVG? An FVG is a three candle formation whereby the second candle moves strongly in one direction, creating a gap, a price gap between the wick of the first candle and the wick of the third candle. This gap represents an imbalance in price that the market may return to fill later. So this is what it means. This is typically usually how it looks like, and then how the definition spoke about the gap in the how the second candle moves in one direction, creating a gap between the first candle and the third candle and leaving a space between it. That is our FVG. That is a very simple definition on how you could easily easily identify it. So basically, this is a bearish FVG, whereby this is a bullish FVG. So in a bearish FVG, what do you usually want to see price do? What you want to see price do is that you want to see, after price leaves this FVG, you want to see price coming back to the starting point of the FVG or the midpoint, or filling up the FVG, and then price respecting the FVG and closing below the FVG and continue in the bearish direction. While back in the bullish scenario, what do you want to see? The same thing. Price coming back to the starting point or going as low as the midpoint or down to fill up the FVG, closing above the FVG, and then using the FVG as a way to push up to the upside. It's that easy and simple to spot out. So but then there's what we call an IFVG. There's an FVG and then an IFVG. Remember what I said here in this bearish scenario? I said coming back and closing below. But then there are instances now that instead of price to come down and close below, price will then close above the FVG. Once price close above the FVG, now what we see is that we see price comes back to retest this FVG or the midpoint of this FVG, and then use it as a way to push up to the upside. That's what an IFVG is. So the same thing goes for the bullish FVG too. Price coming back and closing below it, and then use it as a way to push down lower. So the I in the FVG means inversion FVG. To inverse, you know what it means to inverse now? To use what is if it's meant to be used in the up direction, then inverse it, that's turning it to use it for the lower direction. So it's that simple. It's that simple. I would like to let me just it's that simple. You could take a screenshot of this so that you could practice on later. Let me just label it right here so that anyone could take a screenshot of it or anything though that you could use as a reminder. This is a bearish FVG, and then you could just do this like this, bearish FVG, and name this guy a bullish FVG. So you could save this or take a screenshot for the explanation just to keep it up so you could understand better. So without any further delay, I wouldn't want this video to be too long, so let's dive into this chart so that we could see real example. I'll start from time frames as high as the weekly time frame, the daily time frame, and then go as low as 1 minute so we could see this, because it happens everywhere. And then when you catch a good one, like price really makes use of it very, very well. So without any delay, let's come right here into our chart. And then what I would love to do is that I would love to start this example with, let's start from the weekly time frame. I know I've been speaking about FVG in my videos and how I trade them extensively. So already coming up to this weekly time frame, we could see a lot of them, even like what we saw here now. The first candle, this guy pushing up in one direction and then giving a gap between this guy and the third candle. Remember the definition. given the gap between this guy and the first candle and the third candle, we could see the space in between, and you could see how price failed to close below this level. It filled that's just like how I said, some will fill the whole FVG and then fail to close below it. That is how it works. And then even if we come down right here to somewhere right here, we could see another one again. It's almost everywhere in the market. We could also see another one right here. You could see the first candle, this guy pushing in one direction and giving a gap between the first and third candle. It's a three candle formation, so leaving the gap between the first and third candle, we could see what happened. Are you seeing it? And you could see how price respected it so perfectly and used it to push the upside. So let's go down to something like the daily time frame now. On the daily time frame now, we could see that aside this FVG that we marked out on the weekly, there was another daily FVG right here. See it here. The first candle, gap, boom, and the third candle. You could see it right there. And then you could see how price fell back in daily time frame and came back for the midpoint. I'm glad that we've seen like three good examples. One from the weekly, we saw how price filled the whole FVG and then still respecting it. And then I was seeing a midpoint case here. And then we could also see another one right here. They're almost everywhere in the market. First candle, gap, and then the third candle right here. And we could see what happened here in this case. What can you see? Price filled the whole FVG before using it up to the upside. So now, how does this help you on the weekly, on these large wide time frames like the daily and the weekly time frame? This helps you so that you could mark out those key levels that you know that okay, when price touches this level now, after we have a break of structure and price comes back, or or this level falls within the discount or the premium zone on the market now, you know that okay, price is going to use this level now as a way to push up to the upside. So what will you be looking for? You'll be looking for confirmation on lower time frame when price hits that particular level. A typical example of this is after price hits this level right here. If we should go down to a time frame, like let's go down to 4 hours first. Let's go down to 4 hours, and then let's go down to something like 1 hour, because we're looking for entries, right? You've marked this already on your um on your daily time frame, and you're looking for an entry now. Already we could see that first things first, people that were early now, after price tapped and filled this FVG, what did we see? We saw price coming back, going down like this, giving a break of structure to the upside, leaving another FVG here, and you could see how price tapped it now, but we'll come back to that. And you could see leaving the break of structure and price coming back to pick this guy right here. I think this falls into the discount level. Yes, exactly. And you could see how price bought up. Exactly, that's how it works. You understand? So let's look for more examples on like 4 hours before. That's like now what we've seen from higher time frame is how we could use it as a way to have like much more of like a stronger confidence and all of that. So that is, let's look. They are almost everywhere on the market. Another key one here, could you see how price filled this guy? Could you see? Can you see it right here? Price came back, filled this guy, but did not close below and use the same level as a way to push up higher. So now we've looked at this. Let's look at another example. I think most times, let's look at another example before we could proceed. Another example, I would love to see an example of a sweet example of an IFVG. We've spoken about FVGs extensively. Let's look at something with IFVGs, so we could see all of these examples in action. Okay, we're down on, let's go down to 1 hour. Okay. Let's see something here. This stuff happened on Wednesday last week. It was a crazy one. So what can you see here? You could see this FVG right here. Let me add the let me add this. We could see this FVG last week. See what price did here. Price went crazy somewhere around here. But guess what? Price failed after with the whole week that pushed and took everybody out at around this level. Price still failed to close above this FVG and still held this zone. And you could see what it did with it right here and pushed down lower. But guess what happened? Price broke out of its full body, broke out of this FVG. Could you see what happened? Where did price come back for? Midpoint of that FVG. I called this trade on my VIP that day. Midpoint of that FVG, and guess what? Just putting your SL somewhere around here to keep yourself safe. And then with already the whole everything that was going on, this was my target. I seen it. A very nice 6-hour trade, and look at how it beautifully played out. Look at how it beautifully played out. This is a very nice example of an IFVG. So let's check another example before we proceed. And you could see how I use this now as a way to pick my trade. And then I know this. You guys might say, "Oh, this is 1 hour time frame. Would the SL be too big?" Or it wasn't too big. It's like about 95, 96 pips SL right here to make about 630. So that's like good risk to reward. That's good risk to reward, not like it is good risk to reward. So let's look for another example. Then from this, I wouldn't want this to be too long, so I'll just jump down to like 5 minutes. Then we'll close the video. Let's look for another example. Okay. I'm actually looking out for something. If we don't, I know there are, sometimes. Okay, I've seen one right here. And usually, what I usually do to like pick out my a very nice or consider an IFVG is that I want to see it in action. I want to see it like when it was still an FVG. I want to see it like like give that kind of reaction, like price reacting to it very nicely, so that when price breaks above it, I will know that okay, this guy is a sharp guy. That kind of move. This guy is a sharp guy. There was something that happened in the market here. There was a gap here, but I think this particular chart, Forex.com, is not showing the gap that was left here. But then, if you notice right here, we have an FVG right here. And also, don't forget, there are also types of FVGs. There are some that are more reactive because in the market, like not always that price will respect some things, but some are more reactive compared to others. But then I use this as a way to like identify or guide me, especially with IFVGs. So can you see what happened here? Right here, there's an FVG right here. First candle that gave the gap in one direction, leaving this guy here. What did we see right here? Just see something. Price taps it first time, tapped into the midpoint, sold, and next thing we saw this sharp did low candle, a very strong bullish candle that closed above it. Can you see what happened? Price now falling back to this same guy and using the midpoint. If you're going to take this, where would you put your stops from? I'll take from the midpoint. Where will I put my SL? I'll put myself somewhere around. You could put your SL somewhere around this low to protect yourself because of this other block that is left here. You could take it like this, or you could put your stop loss somewhere here though. And where will you target? Already I was bullish this day, so from the weekly time frame I know I was bullish, so I'll target here. Look at it. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. 4-5 hour trade. So if we should go down to somewhere like, let's see, like 15 minutes now. Let's see, like 15 minutes. And we're looking out. I don't want to use that. Usually, sometimes these things happen so fast. Can you see an example for an FVG? First candle moving in one direction. This is the third candle right here. And where is our FVG? This is the gap here. Can you see midpoints? And this is a very, very fast one. And tap the midpoints. Tap the midpoints, and if we're taking from the midpoint of this guy, where are we seeing? Boom. Stop loss somewhere around here. Usually the best place to put it is right here, but It's a very, very nice trade. And sometimes the best thing that I usually do, or how to protect or guard yourself, is that you need to join trading these FVGs. You need to join them with other confluences. Like, okay, once price tap into it, start to look for lower time frame confirmation. I think we've spoken about this on my community channel. I've covered LTF confirmations right there. So if I should, like, let me just give an example right here. Let's just use this so that I could mark out so that we don't forget where we're acting from. If I should go down to 5 minutes time frame, I should go down to 5 minutes time frame and come back right here. Sometimes you don't actually need to um trade them from right from when they tap. You need to just allow them to tap, get your confirmation, and you do your stuff. So what do we see here? After price taps the midpoint of this FVG, that's on 15 minutes. The tap was on, like, the FVG was on from 15 minutes. So after price tapped it, what did we see next? Price sold. Price sold. When price sold, what did we see here? We could see this break of structure. I don't want to label this, but let's just do it. BOS. Could see this break of structure. And good, after the break of structure, what do you notice here? Oh, let me not confuse you guys, but if we should take out our discount tool, we should be looking at, where are we looking for our entries from? We should be looking for entries at the premium level, which is somewhere here that I marked with this. And then on that premium level, what do you see? You could see an FVG here, another FVG left, right here. I seen it. So after now this first entry right here, after price tapped it, came back for discounts, I'll be looking for my entries from somewhere around here, and SL just above this guy. Then I could target, let's say, about 3-4 hours, depending on how I want to trade that day. 3-4 hours, and we could see how price give us a very nice move, that pushed down aggressively. If I should see down now to like 1 minute, I'm not currently using premium, so I don't know if we'll be able to see those levels, but let's try. Okay, oh no, let's go down to, let's go up to 3 minutes. Okay, on 3 minutes, what do we see happening on 3 minutes? We could see the break of structure was even much more cleaner here on 3 minutes. Could see this break of structure happened right here, sir. Somewhere around here on price. Now we saw an FVG on 5 minutes. Going back to 3 minutes, we can't even get it right there. But we could see how price then used that whole level to push down lower. And on 15 minutes, you know what was here on 15 minutes now? After the tap, the break of structure. In fact, this break of structure right here, after the tap, break of structure, what can you see? An order block that was left. So some people now, guys that trade other blocks now, where would their entries be? The entries will be at the starting point of the order block. And you could see how this order block is actually a nice, very nice order block, self liquidity from this guy. Price coming back, tapping into it, and we could see how got a very nice sell. Very nice sell. So that is that. So let me look for another example for an IFVG on lower time frame. Yeah, I pay a lot on lower time frame. So lower time frames. Let me take this out. Okay, let's go somewhere as high as this. And then when we come here now, I think I called the trade, and that was like the reason why I called that trade. Let's go down to 5 minutes. I called that trade on 5-3 minutes. 5 to 3 minutes. That was where I called that trade the other day. That was on Friday. Okay, I'm already seeing like 2 cases right here. We have one here. The first candle, this guy moved one direction, leaving the gap, and then the third candle. So if I'm marking right here, just see what happened. Price what did price do? Price came back for the FVG, pushed down and then lower. We saw the small reaction right here, and then now that was we saw this reaction right here. What I usually like to do is that after this reaction that is seen right here, after this reaction that we saw right here now, and then price still falling, going back in, it already gives me the confirmation that okay, price is trying to flip this level. So now from this point of this breakout structure, now already I know that I could take my trade from this guy right here. I'm putting my stop loss somewhere around here, and then if I switch back up to 5 minutes, what will I be targeting? I'll be targeting this high. Can you see? Very nice 5 hour trade. And if I want to even play this much more, like using the midpoint of the IFVG, what I'll do is that I'll take this guy here. But this is actually a very, will I say, risky, because price did not close above it yet and price could still use it to fail. But then already we could see like price flipping this whole level that it's already respected for a sell, like it's flipping that level. So it gives us much more confidence that okay, price is actually trying to take a twist to the upside. Let's look for one more example before we close this for the IFVGs on lower time frame. Can we consider this guy? That's one thing you should notice. I don't know if you are keeping your eyes out, you would notice like a repetition in something from the previous entry we used not too long ago. So this year, tap into it, respected it, came back for it like another time, but then price came down the third time and then tapped, and we saw a little bit of pull, but then we saw price breaking this guy. When will you start to look for your entry? You take the midpoint already, because this guy has failed already and it has been tested and trusted before. And after you take this, where would be your target? Where will be your target? Where will be your target? Where will be your targets? Your target should be somewhere the next high nearest. Could you see? Can you see? The target here or target as high as this. And can you see how price respected it so beautifully? Very, very pretty stuff. Let me see if I could see an example right here for a scenario whereby price sold. Where could we see one? Price was kind of noisy at around these levels. Okay, this is an FVG. Could you see how? Can you see what happened here? Very pretty stuff. Price came, tapped into the midpoint first time, give it another second time too for the culture. Broke structure. Price still came back after the break of structure, coming back, testing the discounts, testing the discount level, and then boom, pushing down to the downside. Very pretty and beautiful stuff happening right there. Let me switch down to like 5 minutes. Let's switch it down to like 5 minutes. Let's see if we could get something before we close this video. Okay. Because all the examples I've given are only for like the bullish scenarios on price, but we need something else. What do you guys say? We need something else. Sometimes when you're looking at the charts, a lot of things just seem to become very, very blurry. Okay, but you guys generally, like, once you just get the bullish scenario, like it goes the same. It's virtually the same thing for when we have like a very negative or a bearish scenario. It's just very the same. It's just like how the name implies an inversion. So the bearish scenario would just take like a different, just take a different tone, like just be as very very similar as that, but then in the opposite direction. So I wouldn't want this to be too long, so I would love to close the video here, and I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. You could leave a comment, like, subscribe, reach out to me, let's get to know, and also join the community channel if you're not yet part of the channel, and then I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.